Welcome back, everybody, to Unconditional Surrender in Europe, game designed by Salvatore Vasta, published by GMT Games. This is the East First campaign series. We are currently in September, I believe. So we didn't move the weather things. They're all fair anyway. And we will just go ahead and get started. Germany did take out Russia in August of 1941. And they are currently trying to seal the deal by taking out France so that they can last until 1946. So let's see how we go. What's going on here? There we go. I had forgotten to move things that were in my eliminated box at the end of last turn into mobilization, so I did that before we started. There were no declarations of war. Germany is at 13 plus 1, 14, so she's at 28. Britain's at 8 plus 4 extras, 1 lend-lease and 3 trade, so they're at 24, and the Russians are at 18, and the French would normally be at 12. They get 1 from the Americans, so they're at 13, and the Russians give 1 to the Turks, just because I want to get in the habit of making sure Turkey has 3 points to mess around with in the future. So that takes care of our economies. Strategic warfare, he's at 0 because he doesn't have an airplane up in Stavanger. He needs them all for the combats here in France. I'm at +2. I didn't run any bombers last turn. I originally thought I was going to need my bomber for defense in France last turn. Turns out that I didn't really need it, but then I forgot to go ahead and run it. So only a +2 to a +0. We didn't really need to do this. We both knew that we were going to play our various chits because we both have. He doesn't want to lose any more factories. He's going to play his subs, and I don't want to lose any factories with the British. So we both played our markers. And then he rolled a 5, halved to a 2.5 becomes a 3. I rolled a 1 plus 3 becomes a 1.5, rolls up to a 2. So neither one of us lost a factory. He actually got his factory back, so now he's at full production. And my Ultra comes back in 4 turns, and his subs comes back in 2. So now we go to strategic movement. I'm not sure exactly. I think he moved to Yugoslav or something here. Yeah, he picked up a Yugoslav and that was on a rail line and moved it into Nostric. As the West, I moved, if you look back, this guy here, I realized I had left no retreat route for the 1st North African Army, or the guy in Vichy could possibly end up in the same situation. So I decided I didn't want to lose an army this turn, so I just railed him to Toulouse. In retrospect, this was probably not the right thing to do, but didn't know it at the time. And the Soviets didn't have one. Axis operations. So you're going to see him move his airplanes up, and he goes after the airplane in Marseille. So I was -4, he was -2 net, or 3 rather. He needed to get a 6, and he didn't. So then we just rang them both up. And then the guy in Paris, he flew a guy in Paris to go after the aircraft in Toulouse. And that ended that stuff. Then he activated the armored through another aircraft around here somewhere. Oh. Yes, he also brought in an aircraft underneath this armor to try and get a 6 and failed. So then he went ahead and brought the guy into Paris and finished me off at Toulouse. That's what it was. And so now the North African garrison is only a -1. He is +3 for German. And he's got 7 movement points left. Did we go to combat commitment here? Yes, we did. Neither one of us committed. So it's like, okay. He's +3 on -1. He rolled as good as he can get. He got a 9. So I'm definitely going to retreat at least. I managed to roll a 1, so I'm actually eliminated. Goes on to the faction card. The armored unit takes the hex. And then we place a no enemy zone of control there. And with that, he goes, well, I can go here. And it's like, yeah, that's probably a good thing to do. And then he attacked into Vichy. So I only have 1 retreat hex for this. Again, he's +3 and I'm +2. And we went to combat commitment, and I think this was also a no-brainer for both of us. Oh no, he did not commit, and I did. He saved his airplane. So he had a 3, and I had a 2. He rolled a 5 +3 is an 8, almost as good as he can get. With my +4, I figured, well, I'm fine, right? I rolled a 1, so I'm retreated. 1 +4 is a retreat. So tank goes back, and it's like, I only have 1 retreat route. I have to go there. So I took the hex. I lose 2 will, and my factory count goes down. Then he activates this armored. No, he activated the North African first. I thought he'd go after just Leon here. I thought he'd go after it with the armor, but he went after it with the Africa army instead. So he's +1 to my 0. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes. There's 5 movement points left. I think we're in combat commitment. I felt like I had to try and hold one of these 2 cities. So he threw in his tanks. Did he throw in his airplane too? No. So he rolled a 4 and I rolled a 6, which was an AS. So then he brings the armor down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I don't have anything left. He's a +3. Rolled a 6 +3 is a 9. I rolled a 5, which isn't good enough. So I was retreated. At least I wasn't DD'd. He was hoping I'd roll the 1, 2, or 3, and then I'd be DD'd, and he could get a point for the guy. So he takes the city. That's another 2 will points. And then this armored. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's got 5 left. I'm +1 because I'm French. He's +3. He rolled a 6 and I rolled a 5. 3 +3 and 4 +1. So he went after it again. And this time he threw in his airplane. So he'd be +5 to +1. He rolled a 7. And I rolled a 7. So I was like, haha, I'm holding. This armored came across and attacked the Western Desert Force. He was +3 and I was +5. He rolled a 5, I rolled an 11, so that stopped that. Then he brought the infantry in here and attacked +1 to +1, a 3 to a 6. So not only did I stop him, but he AS'd. And he moves this infantry to there. Now he's showing him 2 places he goes. He goes, that's a good place for me because now I can't really defend this river line with this infantry here because he's on the able to break out, and I can't get anybody across the river out of Marseille. So he decided to go ahead. So I was showing him where I could end up getting that garrison. So he's like, yeah, I'm going to do that. And he brings that garrison down to Dijon. And this garrison he takes over to Rotterdam. At this point, he really doesn't need to defend Rotterdam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He could have possibly moved that into Antwerp and moved the Antwerp garrison up to being closer to the front or something. But and that was it for that. Yeah. And then we were in Western Operations phase. Forgot to change the thing. I had to make a decision here. I can't really defend along the Aller and the upper Nord because this guy's going to die. He's surrounded. I am holding the Rhone pretty much. So I had to make a decision here on what I was going to do. I can't really break out of the Maginot forts with any reliability, like take back Dijon. So I was looking at the, where's the national tracks? Looking at it, I have 11 points left, and I'm like, well, even if I give him 6 points, you know, for like 3 cities and a guy, 7 points, leaves me with 4 willpower, and if I can get into, you know, October, November, get some poor weather and slow them down, I might be able to stay there until at least the Russians get in, and then I don't have to worry about an Italian entry. But by the same token, I was like, and if it goes badly for me, and he does get through and kills a couple units and takes, you know, enough cities and stuff to force a French surrender, then I would have all this British armies sitting in France, and Italy would very likely be coming in. So I played super conservative here, took the BEF and ran it down to Gabes with the American fleet, which I forgot to. Yes, okay. I took the French convoy, took the guy out of Gibraltar, moved him into Corsica, and then moved back to Marseille, which turns out that I probably shouldn't have done. And then I was trying to figure out where I could fly to, and unfortunately, I could not fly to where I wanted to go. So I end up flying to that part of the French line, and then down into Corsica. And then I think I end up in Tunis, right? Boom, boom. There for 1, there for 2, there for 3. Just in case France falls, I will at least be hanging on to the North African possessions, which makes the launch back into, if Italy comes in, it gives me a place to fight Italy on both sides and in North Africa. And if not, I have a place to invade the south of France from. So, like I said, I'm playing super conservative here. I moved the French garrison out. And now this armored unit moved there to try and avoid being isolated and sort of shielding Cherbourg. And the 3rd Guards went to shield Bordeaux. And the Western Desert Force went to Brest. And then the Med Fleet and the convoy moved into Brest to be able to move it away in case France falls. And if not, there's still a possibility of like invading in the channel ports, trying to take back a Calais or a Le Havre. I did run the bomber this time. Got a couple bombed markers. And then, again, starting to feel the paranoia, I went ahead and supplied the British armies in Egypt. And in the Soviets, I just did a little shenanigans, moved an infantry out and an armored into the line. And then that was basically it. And now we're going on into the replacements phase for the Axis. And I believe they have, and they had 14 left, but he didn't have anybody flipped or anything to, did he? Oh, he had an infantry unit over here in the east that he flips over, I think. Gets back his airplanes. And flipped over the infantry in the east. And west, we were discussing why did I run away. And I said, I'm hoping for bad weather. I'm taking a gamble. Said there's no way for me to, not end up with people isolated and you being able to just sort of blow through here and just grab Bordeaux and Toulouse and kill a couple units, maybe 3, if I try to hold the line. So I tried to mitigate my losses and just retreated. I flipped over the unit there. You'll notice I'm very short on production points. I flipped over this unit, and then I'm still not sure if this is the right move. I built ground units, got this airplane back. Could have taken the other airplane and not built any more ground units, which is probably the right thing to do. But I was worried about fair weather in the Mediterranean zone, in the warm zone down here, and then he would be able to like bust across and just grab Marseille. So I didn't want to take that chance. That's the other reason why this armored is here. If he assaults, I can retreat to here. And if I retreat to there, then he can't run up to take Cherbourg. He gets Le Havre, but I can't. I didn't think I could defend it anymore. So now I'm doing the British. What's this? Oh, the airplane in North Africa. Then we go over to the Soviets, who didn't have anything. I did have an upgrade for the West, and I just kind of missed it. I've been able to make the Western Desert Force into the 8th Army for a couple of turns now, and I just blew right by it, didn't do it. Axis didn't have anything to mobilize. West. Okay, we have the French spending their last 3 to build their ground units, and I think this is a mistake. I should have only... I probably shouldn't have done this, but like I said, I was paranoid about the warm zone becoming fair. Soviets didn't have anything. And then we blew through the diplomacy because we both agreed that there's no way I want to change the status quo, so I wasn't going to pull anything. Upon looking, I probably should have had the U.S. throw that no event back in. That was a mistake on my part. But then we go to end of turn phase, where we just get back a bunch of our stuff. So I got an American unit to build, a French garrison to build. He got an armored unit that he's going to be able to build, and we're in October. He's got his tanks and his heavy artillery and his surface action. Neither one of us have anything to do with strategic warfare as far as markers go. So that's going to be straight up die roll, 0 to +4. And I marked my guy here that I left in Valley of the Death there by the Vichy Hex 3315. The real 3315. And then we as our wont, we always roll the weather to see what it's going to be. It was a 415, which is exactly what he needed. In October, a 4 in the cold zone is poor. It is fair in the mild zone, and it is poor in the warm zone. And that was the end of the turn. It was relatively quick because the French didn't do any shenanigans. I didn't do any shenanigans with the British. I do have an extra year of war till 1946, and I felt like if the French can hold out, great. If they do happen to fall, it's with the collapse of Russia, it's probably I have to capture all the German cities anyway. I'm hoping with the extra year of war, I'll be able to chip off a few more German units. And right now, I'm just trying to suck him in here. I'm hoping to be able to hold on through October. But with fair weather, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I can hang on to... I know I can hang on to Marseille because it's poor weather there. But I have a feeling that I'm going to lose Toulouse, Bordeaux, Le Havre, Cherbourg, which is 8. 9, because this guy's definitely going to die. He's isolated in a low supply. And then it's a matter of if he can get this flipped guy, that would be 10. And if he can get the First Guards tank army, that'd be 11, and I'd be done. So, it's going to be a near-run thing. One of the mistakes I realized I made here, instead of this guy shielding Bordeaux, knowing I was going to build something there, I probably should have put him here and had him be... no. Yeah, he still would have been there. It does allow this guy to get isolated, possibly, but by not being there, he can do this. He can grab some garrison from somewhere, even over in the east, and rail it all the way down to, like, here. So he can take a garrison from anywhere and can end up in this hex in his strategic movement, which would allow him to... I mean, the best I can do is strategically move somebody to here. He's still in supply this way, which means he can fly an airplane up here and get in range of me. Alternatively, he can rail to like there, but I don't think he wants to give me this mountain hex. So, he can mess me up. So, there is that. Anyway, that was the September 1942 turn. France is on the verge with fair weather in October. They're going to be even closer. He might get himself down to where he only has to get 2 or 3 will points, and even in poor weather, he should be able to, force a retreat in a couple of those cities. As always, I'm Dren608. If you like my videos, please subscribe. Hit that likes up button. It keeps the algorithms in YouTube happy and keeps these things up for people to find. And we will see you when we have our next session in about a week. Until then, Happy New Year, everybody. Stay safe, and bye-bye.